Here we are. Hey, everybody, we are live, and this is the first birthday of Zennie62Media, which I'm wearing this shirt. And I don't know if I can singleize this or do that. I can do that. That's cool. And then I can do that, and then I can do this, and then I can do this. And yeah, there's the thingy there, okay? Now, let me explain that first video because that's kind of how all this started. Um, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking, but I've been obsessed with using a smartphone to have the news. But I thought, God, it would be great if you have a smartphone, it makes a video and the video becomes text. So you don't have to write anything. It's all out there. You can go on about your next thing and it can be news from anywhere in the world. And that's it, right? That was my dream 5 years ago. And so I started coding it. My friend Steve Pisarczyk, that didn't go anywhere. But then I thought, okay, I'm not going to get that far, but maybe if I get further, because I became really obsessed with YouTube Live, especially on the iPhone. And in 2016, I really started diving in and making, and I think making live streams and everything else. And I had started having guests on, um, and but the possibilities for this to me weren't really realized until I didn't know what we were about to see was going on until it was going on. And what happened was that this is Morgan Bach, and you probably have heard me talk about her. A friend in Oakland who was on my stream, and I had no idea she was in the Gaza Strip. She didn't tell me she was going. I didn't know. All of a sudden, but she was on the network, and she was a vlogger, and she made this right here from there.
Kiryat Gat, and we're here to express our support and solidarity with the people of Gaza who have been marching for the right of return for the last month and a half about, and they're still marching. Over 100 people have been shot and killed, and many hundreds more injured and disabled. So we're here to travel around Palestine and some awareness of the issues that Palestinians are facing here. So here we came all the way to the border of Gaza. Here behind me, you can see this watchtower and kind of the trenches that are surrounding the Gaza Strip. And we're gonna leave next. It looks like there's some soldiers up there. But thank you for watching, and you can follow us at #SumoGaza for more updates.
And I was in that book from YouTube, and then actually we even take Oakland to the Gaza border like that, and then put it into search here. Boom. It went from YouTube, Oakland News Now, to our vlog action blog, and yeah, and the whole point is it just got, if you type Gaza protests in Google News or Google, it was the top story on Google News, and it was on the front page. And she had done nothing other than that, nothing. And I thought, oh, it works. And that's when I pivoted and I really focused on building what we have now. And then prior to that, I met Bill, but Bill had never been on here, and then that was years ago. But then I was at Comic-Con, and I had this idea of bringing in someone I met at Comic-Con, and we met when, I think it was, well, actually, you know what? This video, if I'm not mistaken, will contain our first meeting, and that was you, Jessica, and that was here. And so even though it was this, not that video, but that was one of the ones that better, but this is some time ago, and I'll just write Comic-Con and jump all over this because Jessica has a lot of videos now. Comic-Con. Comic-Con there, and here, and yeah, there she is. This is Jessica Dwyer.
So we're talking with Jessica Dwyer of Horror Hound magazine.
It doesn't roll off the tongue very well, but it looks great on a cover.
And you have a terrific set of stories about what you've covered. But tell my
I guess Jessica hates
viewers
yours.
about
Where'd you
your
go?
publication. First of all, and then what you saw at Comic-Con and most
Sure.
impressed you so far.
Horror Hound has been around for about 6 years now. We're on issue almost 50, and I've been with them since issue 2. Since I've been writing for them, I've gotten to interview Sir Anthony Hopkins, Benicio del Toro, for The Wolfman. We've covered everything. I got David Tennant for Fright Night. I was the only North American publication to get him for that.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I was very excited. That's Doctor Who.
I have to ask you what you think of the new Doctor Who.
I am completely and utterly and totally in love with Peter Capaldi.
Wow! Hold on a second. Really?
I loved him.
Was he your choice?
I loved him when I was 14, and he did a movie called Lair of the White Worm.
What is it? Say that's a week.
Oh wow, Lair of the White Worm.
Yeah, let me finish talking about it.
remember that.
That was
I
him.
remember that.
He was
Wow.
Angus, the Scottish archaeologist that gets turned into a vampire. Spoiler.
So, on that basis, I will change my view.
Well, and
I didn't realize that.
He is also a massive geek. Believe it or not, Peter Capaldi has loved Doctor Who since he was 5 years old, and he was friends with John Pertwee, who was the third Doctor. He loved Peter Cushing. He's a huge Hammer horror nut, and he's one of us.
Well, I have to ask you, I'm compelled to ask you, what about the idea that Doctor Who should have been a woman or African American?
You know, the thing that I have a problem with, the woman thing, I don't have a problem with the African American thing at all.
Mhm.
Totally not. I was like, you need your Elva,
Sure.
you know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so it looks like some gremlins or something are probably going on. So I'll just, the term we use in the business is vamp or stretch, which means I will be saying things until someone else starts saying things. So I will talk about what I've been up to. I'm Bill Carroll. Hi. I've been with Zennie62Media for about 7? Is that right? 7 months? I mean, doing some quick math. Yes, I've been with Zennie62Media for about 7 months, and I occasionally will delve into politics and history and things like that because of interest in those areas. But I'm essentially the draft guy. I have been writing about the NFL draft since, and here's the feel old moment. My first draft article was published in the late fall of 1982. So, yes, old. But I'm still young at heart. If only I were young in my other organs. But this particular draft is going to be very interesting. And I've been talking to some NFL scouts about some of the challenges they're facing because though they have access to things to which the average person does not have access, like
stream.
Oh, and I can stop stretching because then
add to stream. Hey, Bill. Okay, I'll let you go. Bill?
Yes.
Hey, Bill.
Hey. Yeah, I was trying to fill dead air, but I'm glad you're back.
Jessica told me you did a great job. My computer just conked out.
Yeah, I didn't want dog barking to overwhelm everybody, so I had to hop off for a second.
Yeah. So anyway,
Now, what kind of fur babies do you have, Jessica?
I have 3. I have a Bichon Cocker mix, which is a Cockachon.
Yes, that sounds very classy. Keep going.
Very classy. And then I have a Havanese, which is a full-blooded Havanese. He's my little Cuban boy. And
Okay.
then I have our new baby, who's only like 10 weeks old, and she is a golden doodle. And she is the smartest dog I think I've ever owned.
Those dogs fascinate me because I wonder how logistically they make that happen. But yes, that's fascinating. Okay, good.
Well, poodles and golden retrievers are fairly the same size. It's not like you've got a Pomeranian getting it on with like a Siberian.
Yeah, good point. With like a Saint Bernard, that would be difficult.
That would be painful and horrible to try and do, I think. So no, but Nilla is we call her Vanilla She's our vanilla wafer. We call her Nilla because our dog Oreo passed away, and he was the beginning of our cookie theme. So we had Oreo, and then we had Snickerdoodle.
I was about to guess that the Snickerdoodle thing had to work its way out. Okay, got it.
Yeah, Snickers is the Snickerdoodle. And
hey, Jessica, do you remember this video?
this was the Hannibal panel, and this was like I think the first time we met.
Yeah, that's right. And I think you said something that Bill recognized.
I love you
Yeah,
so much.
you mentioned the Lair of the White Worm, which I saw.
I don't want them to make
He was like 35, 32, 30-something years ago, I feel like.
Lair of the White Worm was actually, I have the special edition Blu-ray. They released it a couple of years ago on Blu-ray. And what's great about that movie is it actually stars the 12th Doctor, Peter Capaldi, in it, opposite Hugh Grant. He's actually the hero in it, Peter Capaldi is. And it is a twisted piece of cinema, that movie.
Yeah, I saw it many years ago. I might have finished high school, but I must have been early in my undergraduate years if I was out of high school. But I remember seeing it at the Narrow Theater, which is the only art repertory film house. ARF is what that stands for. Yeah, ARF is what they call the organization, Art Repertory Films House. There's actually an organization called ARF, and I hope it's still alive. I haven't checked in a while, but these are art houses. These are places that show, if you want to see, one of Andy Warhol's films, or if you want to see John, just John. Yeah, I guess John Waters is still making films. I don't know
John
if
Waters, he's still making movies.
Actually,
Okay, good. Okay,
we actually had him at Horror
By the
Hell
way, also,
Weekend
folks, I wanna
about a
mention
year or
that,
two ago.
It didn't work. Talk on it. I have to hold on. I have a trouble connecting, so I'm gonna have to go in and come out again. Bear with me one
Do
moment.
your thing. We're talking films.
We're talking films. But yeah, John Waters actually came to Horror Hound Weekend about 2 years ago, and I got to see him talk live. And he is amazing.
What I'm trying to
He's
do-
everything you think he's going to be. He does not disappoint.
No, he is exactly what you want him to be.
Hang on. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Do your thing. Like there's some people that you build it up in your mind. I've been a fan of his since I was 14. So you build it up in your mind, and you're always worried. I saw him on a panel discussion. This is probably still many years ago, 1989, 1990. And I'm old. And I'm so afraid he was going to be like, I was so afraid he's going to be way less interesting than I was. Nope. He was like, oh my God, you're exactly as John Waters as I hoped you'd be.
He's fantastic. It's the same with Clive Barker. Like I met Clive Barker when I was 14 years old, and then I ended up working on stuff with Clive Barker, and I went to Clive Barker's house.
Wow. Okay.
And I actually, Clive Barker is as Clive Barker as you could hope he could be, because literally everywhere in the house are phalluses. Everywhere.
Nice.
Everywhere. And then I was friends with basically his right-hand guy that was running the studio at the time. And Mark goes, "So have you seen The Room?" And I'm like, what room are you talking about? You've taken me everywhere. He's like, "Oh, you haven't seen it yet." And he goes, push on that wall.
Oh boy.
Okay. So he opens his closet door and he says, "Push on that wall." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I push on this wall, and the wall opens, and it's a fake door.
Oh.
And it's into this little 5 by 5 foot room that has a one-way mirror that's looking into the bedroom
Oh.
that I was in. And I'm like, had been walking around in prior, being shown around, and I'm like, "Is this what I think it is?" And he goes, "Yep." So it was a wink room. It was a wink room. And it was a secret wink room in Clive Barker's house. And he goes, "Look up." And I hadn't noticed this before, but in the bedroom, there were hooks in the ceiling.
Of course there were.
And I'm like, "Oh my God." And this is the best thing I've ever seen. Because it was like as Clive Barker as you could hope Clive Barker would be. And he's, even with all of this craziness, he's still the sweetest, kindest, nicest guy. But he's got his kink, and it's like, that's Clive Barker. I mean, this is the guy that made Hillary, so what are you going to expect? I'd be disappointed if there wasn't a secret wing for
Right, exactly. Like if it was just a huge spice closet with advertised spices. What a doubter that would have been.
I would have been like, really?
That's
Canned
the first
goods?
time I've heard kinky expressed as a noun.
Jeez. But yeah, I mean, it's great when you meet your heroes and they're as much like you would hope them to be. And like John Waters, Clive Barker. I got to drunkenly dance with Joss Whedon at 2:30 in the morning at San Diego Comic-Con one year.
Wait. Say what? You got to dance? What? Not that I want to dance with Josh.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? He's a good-looking man. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to dance with Joss Whedon?
Well, I don't want to dance with him.
That was probably one of the best nights of my life. Was that show? Was that con? Because it was one of the last Wrath of
I dance with Buffy. You know, I want.
What happened that night? What happened since San Diego Comic-Con is kind of what started this whole thing with Zennie and I.
Yeah.
This is a fine time to tell this story. So. I was at Comic-Con with a couple of my friends, and we were supposed to get into this. We weren't invited, but we were going to figure a way, and we were going to this Wrath of Khan party, which is one of the biggest.
Oh, you went to that.
Yeah, it was one of the biggest. This was one of the biggest, like one of the biggest parties of ever at San Diego, and I wasn't with the guys, and they got to the place where it was happening.
Was that 2013? Is that 2013?
I think so. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
It was the year they announced the Avengers.
Yeah, I think it was 2013. 2012.
Yeah, literally the next day was the Avengers announcement.
Yeah, that was 2012. Yeah.
So the guys I told them, you know, I'll figure a way to get us in, because I'm the one that talks our ways into parties. And the guys went without me to this place, and they got in, and I had begged them to dress up, but they were in black shorts and black t-shirts, and you know, it's like, no, you have to dress up to get into these things, because they won't let you in if you don't look decent, you know, like well dressed, because why would you, you know? So I was watching outside of the place, and they were letting in like Andy from Spartacus, the guy that passed away, was there, but just literally, and if you were anybody, you were at that party. So the guys had gone in and had left, and I called them. I'm like, you jerks, you went without me. And they're like, "Oh, it's nothing. There was nobody there." And I'm like, what? That doesn't sound right. And I'm like, well, screw you guys. I'm going to get in there anyway. So I ended up make I ended up forcing this guy to have me be his +1. He's like, but I don't have a +1. I'm like, I don't care, just follow my lead. and the guy wasn't going to let me in because I was wearing sneakers. And it's like, I looked at the dude and I said, sir, we're at San Diego Comic-Con. I have literally walked 20 miles today. Do you really think I'm going to be wearing heels? Well, we can't let you in, blah, blah, blah. And I looked at him and I said, you just let the dude from Spartacus in and he's wearing a pair of Chuck Taylors. And he goes, fine. And he put the bracelet on my wrist and you could hear the angels sing as I went into the party. So I get in there and it's a 3-level club. And the guys had gone in just on the first level. They hadn't gone any further. And it was completely empty. And I'm like, well, where's the party? And I followed my friends that I'd gotten in with and we went to the second level and there was a couple of people. And then we got on the roof.
Yes.
And when you get to the roof where it's outside, it's wall to wall. You can't even walk of people.
Wow.
And I look around and I was a little drunk. And then suddenly I was stone sober and I'm looking around like, oh crap, I don't know anybody here. Because my friends were gone. They like disappeared to the ether. And I'm like, shit, I don't know anybody here. Oh my God. And I'm looking around like, there's literally a couple hundred people packed on this roof.
What hotel was this? Was the Hard Rock?
No, it wasn't the Hard Rock. I can't remember which hotel it was. It was not the Hard. It might have been the Omni, maybe, but I don't think so. I can't remember. So I look across this crowd and I see this one tall head floating above everybody else. And it's Doug Jones. And I'm like, oh crap, I know Doug Jones. I ran like through this crowd. And I get to Doug and I poke him on the shoulder and he goes, Precious. And he's like, holds his hands out and he hugs me and he introduces me to this guy that he's talking to. And I'm looking at the guy he's talking to. I'm like, I know this dude. Where do I know this dude from? And he was the multiple man from Heroes. He was the actor that played him. He also ended up playing Bela Lugosi in Supernatural, I think, at some point.
Oh.
And so Doug is talking to this guy, and I'm like by them because I know him. I literally know no one else there. And Doug, I hear him go, well, do you want to go meet Nathan? And at Nathan, you hear the word Nathan, and you know there's only one Nathan at Comic-Con.
Yes.
And that is Fillion. It is Cap and Tight Pants. And he's like, do you want to go meet him? He's over here. And Doug's like, sure. And I looked at Doug and I'm like, can I come? And he grabs my hand and we bebop through this crowd and he takes me to Cap and Tight Pants and introduces me to Nathan Fillion, who is very sweaty and probably a little drunk and just beautiful. And I'm just like, oh, dude, I follow you on Twitter. Don't ever change. I mean, I'm like an idiot. And the guy that plays the multiple man takes a picture of us together. So I have a photo of me cuddled up with Nathan Fillion that was taken by multiple man from Heroes. And
Post the photo.
Oh, I will. So after that, we end up, I'm just following Doug around because he's like the only person. And all of a sudden we wind up next to Joss.
Oh.
On the dance floor. And Joss is dancing and Doug's dancing and I'm like trying to dance. He was just there by himself. Like, I probably had an entourage that was surrounding him, but I didn't know. But I look at Doug and Doug's like, talk to him. And I'm like, what do I freaking say? Joss Whedon, he's like my God. He's my God. I don't know what to say. And he's like, well, think of something. And because Doug's all about like, oh, she's a great writer and blah, blah, blah. He's like in this sweet Doug Jones, I will take a bullet for you any day of my life. So I'm thinking, I go, we share a birthday. And he's like, there you go, there's your in. And I look at Joss Whedon and I just said, Mr. Whedon, we're both June 23rd, redheads forever. And blah, blah. And he goes, yeah. And so later on, I'm like, okay, okay, Jessica, this is your chance. This is your chance. So I see him walking by himself, and I went, hey, Mr. Weedy, someone said I should give you a hug. And he goes, who told you that? And I said, me. And he goes, well, I'm all sweaty. And I'm like, I don't care. And he goes, okay. And so I hugged Joss Whedon. And I told him, I'm like, you're the biggest, one of the biggest influences on my writing of fiction ever. And you're just amazing. So thank you so much. And he's just like, oh. And then the next day he did the big announcement about the Avengers. But here's the thing that's going to make every man in the audience and some of the women very jealous of me. That happened at that party. Because at that point, I had gotten more booze.
I mean, I'm already jealous.
No, it gets worse.
I think you've already
This is even crazier. So at that point, at that party, I'm trying to think. I was 30. That was 8 years ago. So I would have been 36. I think I had just gotten my 5-year. I was over my 5-year mark for the cancer. Mm-hmm. And I saw Andy. And at that time, this is sad. At that time, he had been told he was clear. And so I went over to him. I just was like, you know what? I'm happy. I'm kind of buzzed. I'm just going to go around and talk to everybody. And I went over to him and I said, sir, I just want to tell you, I'm 5 years clear. And I isn't that the best feeling? And he's like, isn't that the best feeling ever? And I said, can I hug? I gave him a hug and we were hugging and talking. And, and later on he ended up passing. and I was just that destroyed. I'm never going to watch that documentary his wife made because I couldn't take it. But walking around was James Frain, who is like one of my favorite actors, and he always dies and everything. And at the time he was in True Blood as, Franklin. Franklin was his name, and he was the one that the crazy vampire that was obsessed with Tara.
That was also the same year Alexander Skarsgård was there, right?
Yeah. I think everybody from True Blood was there at that year.
Yeah, because I remember a little funny scene, which I'll tell you later.
But James Frain walks by me. He's on a cell phone, and I just stopped and just like stared at him like a deer in headlights and watched him walk by, and because it just got me like, oh my god, it's Franklin, He goes, and you could see him do this little half smile at me like he realized, oh yeah, he's freaking out right now because and so later on I ran into him at the party and I said, I didn't mean to stare at you, I just don't die on the show. And he does this movement like right in and tell them not to kill me, and of course they kill him 2 weeks later because he probably knew they were killing him off. And so the next time I saw him for Star Trek Discovery, I told him, they can't kill you now. You're Spock's dad. He's like, yep. But here's the thing that was crazy. So at that party, Adrian Curry was there. And I think I've told you about this, Zennie. Adrian Curry was dressed as Slave Leia. And she had this crazy outfit on, and she had this girl with her that was dressed like a droog from Clockwork Orange. Yeah. And they were both like super tall, willowy, crazy
models. Yes.
Yeah, they don't look real. So this was like the last part of the night.
So hot for Adrian Curry. Sorry,
this is the last part of the night. I'm kind of drunk, and Adrian Curry, I don't know what she was on, probably drunk. So she walks up to me, and I just was like talking to her, just I'm like, whatever, and she goes, and she's got that outfit on, and she says, man, I gotta tell you, this is chafing me to death. And she grabs my hand, plants it right on her left boob, and says, squeeze this. And I'm just like, are you? And I'm thinking, is she hitting on me? I think she's hitting on me. This is really awkward. And I'm like, but it was like this freaking, I don't know what that thing was made out of. But it was like
Adrian Curry. Wow.
And I'm just like, okay.
It doesn't happen to me.
I wish it hadn't happened to me because it was just really awkward. I'm like, what in the heck? And I'm thinking, I know men that would kill themselves for this right now, and I'm just trying to figure out how to walk away without being more awkward.
Because it's just over and
But it was so funny. She's like, yeah, and I'm like, and I actually said, I'm like, damn, that's like sturdy, whatever. That's me. She had it, but that was like one of the most awesome nights of my life. That party, I'll never have another party like that. I don't know if they'll ever have a party like that again.
That's it. You know, do you think? I hope I was listening to you, and I was thinking about how the pandemic takes us away from all that.
Exactly.
You know, you get those chances to have those spontaneous interactions and parties where you don't know you're going to see somebody. But hey, before we go too much further, I want to also show you all. This was Richard Hake. Richard was also the other inspiration. He's really the second person to start this, because he was the first person to really get the style of vlogging. This is Richard Hake in action. This was 3 years ago.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
This was at La Estrada in Oakland. I was vlogging about the Raiders and the A's, and the A's were planning their new ballpark, and I couldn't be there. I had needed someone to fill in, and he was one of my loyal viewers, and he said he'd do it. That's how we met.
Going live here at La Estrada in Oakland for the A's rally for basically ballpark support. They're going to go to the Peralta board meeting tonight and try and gather some more support for what's going on here in
Now, what I like is, folks, he vlogs. Like, you know, he talks like everybody else. He talks to the camera. He looks at you. He connects with you. But the other thing that he does is he talks to people. Check this out.
Was this your choice for ballpark?
Yes. Yeah. He did this for Howard Terminal and
Right on. So you're happy with it?
I am very happy.
Right on. Oh, so it makes life easy for you. Yeah, same here. Like it's right, I was thinking I'm in an Alameda. I'd like to take maybe a little boat across. That'd be nice. You see any problem?
He connects with people, and so it's like, and then he goes inside. He gets the scenes like this. See?
I saw Dr. Death a minute ago.
Oh, he did. Well, did we miss Dr. Death? Hold on a second. I thought he was talking there.
That's one way in which football's changed. Nobody has those kind of nicknames anymore. Nobody named Dr. Death in the league anymore.
All right. And what do you?
What was I gonna say?
Yeah. What do you?
All right. So I'll give you a little
Talk to
preview.
people outside. My point is that Richard, this is the first video ever done
I don't think it's gonna happen. So
on our channel.
that
Where someone filled in for me, where I couldn't be somewhere, and I wasn't even around. I was actually in Georgia to show him. Richard just did all this based on what I told him, and his watching my blogs, and
Support. Like I said, there's union leaders here. There's fans. There's A's people.
I put the camera and gesture. He gives us photography. So this is, I just want to thank Richard for this, because I never forgot it, and it was a big moment in what became what we do now, and because he's the model for how this stuff has been done, and so like I said, he got it. And that was without rehearsal or anything. So that's it. And you all have really contributed a lot to this style, this vlogging, and getting this far. So I just want to say thanks. But also, not only that, Richard, and then also the other classic folks here like. Mason Riggs brought us the StreamYard that we're using. Mason Riggs was the first person to start using it. And I had never heard of StreamYard. I heard of Zoom, But we were getting all this stuff, everything was new, right? And Mason was the guy who did the NFL draft stuff. He actually watched my show at the time. I had no idea he was watching until he made himself known. And he said he wanted to blog, but he wanted to focus on the NFL draft is what he wanted to do. That was his thing. And so he's the one who turned us on to, as you can see here, this is I'm going to fast forward this because it sets up.
Defensive lineman.
This is him using,
Big James Lynch.
This is him using.
Strobridge was causing havoc. A free technique at the Senior Bowl. Put on a little bit of weight.
Hear that familiar term there.
Real explosive first step. I know there's been a lot of talk about improving that.
For some reason it doesn't want. Yeah, here we go. Okay.
So kind of best player available. What I'm feeling right now. I'm going with.
And so
with the interior offensive line.
It's a different style. It's a little psychedelic.
Dave Jackson potentially. Or
Infinity and beyond.
Wow, dude.
That's there we go. But I don't know how that happened, but it happened. At any rate, I know how it happened because it's StreamYard within StreamYard within StreamYard. Now, that's only because StreamYard won't let me pull up the normal video. So, but he was the person that really turned us on to this, and I want to really get that in the right way. Hold on a second. Let me go out and come in. For some reason, StreamYard is not allowing me to get these in,
right.
so I have to. So let me do this.
You're going Taylor.
I'll be right back in 1 second. 1 second. Oh, I'll just refresh this.
Okay, so he was breaking down Jason Strawbridge, who I remember was a defensive tackle from North Carolina. He mentioned, Leon Taylor was the last player I think he mentioned, who was a linebacker, outside linebacker, I think. So yes,
I don't do the sports ball.
No, I know. I'm just sort of playing in my mind the players he would see. So I know what year he must have been at the Senior Bowl, and he was talking about defensive players, I believe. So I'm thinking of all the players who were at that Senior Bowl that year. But yes, okay. So yes, I try to do a little bit of everything. But yeah, I've been writing about the NFL draft since the early 1980s.
Yeah. StreamYard on Firefox. Sorry about that, folks. StreamYard on Firefox, it'll split. In other words, if I go to
You opened a portal into another dimension, basically. That's what you did.
Will not let me add to this. I don't know why that is. So I'm just going to go with the standard party we were just talking. And I had this plan where I was going to show everybody's videos and stuff, but I think the banter is just as much fun. So I remember when we met also, Jessica, we went to the Star Trek panel.
The Discovery panel.
But yeah, that was a ton of fun. That was a ton of fun. And it was, And
I still think though the Hannibal panel was the most hilarious thing ever because Bill, if you had been there, you would have had a freaking hell of a time because everybody thought we knew each other from before. It was the first time we'd met, and our entire table we pretty much dominated. Anytime any guest came over, it was me and Zennie were the only two talking.
Yeah,
and we were laughing our asses off, and everybody was just cracking up. And the other tables like super quiet, but we were like ridiculous.
Do you remember why? We were talking about there was some character in there, and I was wondering if they were having sex. Remember that? And I was saying, why don't you just say that? And it was like, but I wasn't saying it in a mean way. I was like, yeah, let them get it on, something like that.
Oh well, what was awesome was Raul Esparza, who I don't remember if it was you that told me about it, but he had done a benefit. You got to pull that video up on YouTube because it's there. He'd done a benefit for first responders, and he had done the song "Hallelujah" by. That's the song that.
But Sergei Gainsbourg has one of the more famous
right.
versions. Yeah.
But so that song, and he had done it for this benefit for first responders for 9/11.
If you can find it and post it, that'd be great because there's something witty going on where I have to go out and come in, and I don't know why. Maybe I need to use Chrome or something else to like interrupting the flow.
Let's see. So what happened was someone had told me that, and he is a Broadway performer, not just an actor on freaking every Law and Order ever known. And because if you're a New York actor, you have to be in at least one episode of one of the Law and Orders, if not multiple ones, which I just found out Pedro Pascal was in like 2 or 3 episodes of Law and Order.
Wonder Woman?
Yes, he's the Mandalorian. But he'll always be my slutty prince.
Oh.
He is always and forever my slutty prince.
Well, folks, I have just revealed the fact that I have neither watched The Mandalorian nor Wonder Woman. Mandalorian, I watched 1 episode. I haven't.
Don't watch Wonder Woman. Just don't.
I got to. She's
no.
Oh,
don't.
Why you just like it? Have you seen it, Bill? I have it. I have it on this computer. I haven't watched it yet. Why?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You're a grown man.
I can't link it, but there's the link if you want to post it in the chat. To the concert thing. But anyway, he had done this thing, and I started playing it for the table because I knew he was a super singer as well. And when he got over the table, he just started talking about this event because he was live in front of the people that had died saving people at Ground Zero. He was in front of all the first responders, and he like undoes his tie, unbuttons his shirt, gets on his knees, like he's singing his guts out. And he said, and he was talking about it while I was playing. He goes, I'll never be able to do that again. I'll never be able to recreate that because that moment was so massive. And I just gave my heart and soul to this because of what these people had done. Right. And then they do what ends up happening to his character in Hannibal is horrible, and they do literally every bad thing that they could do to him other than kill him. Like every bad thing happens to him. But as for Wonder Woman 84, it is the biggest mess of a film I think I've ever seen in the last 15 years. I mean, it even tops Last Jedi. It tops.
On the heels of Wonder Woman 1? Really?
Oh, dude, there's no comparison.
So, I think what she's talking about is a combination of what I like to call tonal dissonance. You know, where it's kind of if you can do it on purpose and pull it off, but I don't think they're doing it on purpose and they're not pulling it off.
Yeah. There's so many plot holes and they're so big I could drive my house through them.
And then there's almost kind of like a winking. I don't know, how do I put this? Like if this were like a small film that someone made by like maxing out their credit cards, you would kind of be like, oh, I see what they're doing here, and it's like campy fun. But they spent probably $190 million.
200.
Oh Jesus! Okay, I was guessing. Okay, and you know how sometimes you hear that number and you say, oh, well, I can see, where that money went.
No, it looks cheap.
Right. Exactly. Like, why does this look like it was made by 27-year-olds who still have a day job?
The special effects are horrible. And here's the thing that's really going to piss Zennie off when he watches it, is the fact that literally every man but one, which is Steve Trevor, is a scumbag that wants to bang Wonder Woman.
Yes.
That is literally every man in the movie. And they leer at her. Yes. There's attempted rape, but like literally every man is a scumbag but Steve Trevor. And that gives Wonder Woman a pass for what happens to her and Steve Trevor, which if you have read about it, if it had happened to a woman on screen, there would be outrage out the ass. But because it was a dude, it didn't matter because every dude wants to bang Wonder Woman. And I'm trying to keep this vague because Zennie hasn't seen this yet.
No, I want to watch it. I got it on my computer. What happened?
Okay, so this is a big spoiler, but not really because Steve Trevor comes back.
Yeah, I wanted to watch to find out how he came back.
Okay, so how he comes back is really stupid.
Nice or something?
No. So she
No, I'm not
wishes.
saying this. I want to have sex with Wonder Woman. Okay, so just don't cheat.
Apparently, every guy in the world wants to, even if they have no choice in the matter.
I discovered sex. I mean, come on.
So,
Seriously, being honest.
so,
I have no shame on that.
so, what happens with Steve Trevor is, for some reason, even though physical manifestation of objects is a thing that the wish stone can do, Steve Trevor has to come back by possessing the body of a guy that lives next door to Wonder Woman.
That's gross.
And so what happens is
That hit me as gross. I'm sorry.
she and Steve Trevor get it on because she can only see Steve, not this poor schmuck whose body he's taken over, who may be gay, because they do this whole wardrobe thing and really push this whole wardrobe thing that he's got and all these styles and pastels. And
let me get this straight. She's hallucinating that he's Steve Trevor.
No.
She's not hallucinating. She's seeing his right. Yeah, she's seeing his, I don't know, essence. I mean, however you want to put it. I mean, he's there.
It's basically to get Chris Pine in the movie.
There you go.
Yeah. So Chris Pine's spirit takes over this dude, and they use the dude's body to have sex. So I want you to tell me how the reaction would be if it was role reversed and a woman had been possessed by the spirit of another woman and the guy had sex with her.
About the same. I mean, it depends on how the scene.
No, there's no outrage about this. There's slight outrage. If it had been a woman having this done to her, the outrage would be
a little right.
Astronomical.
You would hear more. Yeah, you definitely hear more about it. Yeah,
that a woman,
because there's no way. Even if you tried really hard to, set it up in some way that didn't feel
gross,
right? Yes, there you go. I was trying to think of another way to put it, but gross is actually the best way. It would still come off as somewhat gross, but as Jessica's completely accurately pointed out, if this had been, no matter how you presented it, if this had been done with a woman's body, being used to allow these two, characters to
by another woman, right?
Well, I'm just saying, right, assumingly, right. I guess it would work either way.
I'm not saying Wonder Woman gets it on with a girl. I'm talking about if a girl was the one that had possession of another girl, so the guy could be with the woman that he loved and use this other woman's body without her knowledge.
Yeah, I think you would definitely hear people talking about lack of agency and, how it's almost metaphorically represents how women's bodies are used in Hollywood all the time anyway. But
yeah, and what's even crazier,
the area where the person who's the current senator, Kelly Loeffler, they brag about how rich she is, okay? But the truth of the matter is that she got her job for this guy's company.
Yep.
Her way to the top and married her, and no one is outraged about that. Now, I'm like, really? But you don't hear a peep about that. So, in terms of what outrages people,
yeah. But if the insider trading stuff doesn't outrage people, then I guess nothing will. I mean, like Kelly Loeffler is one of those. Like if someone reshot American Psycho with a female lead, she'd be perfect as a candidate because she is
something like that.
But that's my point. Is she's this paragon of, please excuse the expression, but like the WASP American dream of having, quote unquote, having it all, but without having a soul, right? I mean, every decision she's made in her entire life has always been about self-advancement. And it's something that some people apparently admire, right? I mean, that's the part that disturbs me. Like, the fact that she exists doesn't disturb me. I've lived in America all my life. The fact that people can somehow find it admirable is the part that disturbs me. Like, if this were a fictional character, we would spot the things, these red flags immediately. But somehow a real, actual human doing these things and being this doesn't seem to set off the same sort of red flags. The fact that it's even going to be close in the runoff tells me everything I need to know about America.
Yeah. Yep. Here's the thing, though. Like when I first got that information about her, the senator, because she's senator, I refer to her as senator.
Yeah, she's a senator, right? Sure.
If you don't like it, vote. But the whole point is,
Right. The more you know.
yeah.
Well, and one thing I'll bring up, because I have to jump here pretty soon, but I wanted to bring this up about Wonder Woman.
Yes, let me say this real quick though.
Sure.
In 1984, was given a book by my mom's friend because she knew I was interested in called Power Play. And Power Play was about Mary Cunningham, who went to work at Bendix out of the Harvard Business School and started dating CEO Bill Agee and then married him. However, he was married to a black guy. And so since I had was in a relationship at the time, and I've always been sensitive about how black men are treated in society and books and all that, because I'm black. And I was outraged that she would write this book and devote only 4 pages to what happened between her and her husband, and like she basically dumped her black husband for this guy, and like her husband seemed like he was cool with it. And I was like, that sounds. I mean, he can't not be possibly that kind of a weenie, or she's just like not. And so I say all that in the context of Kelly Loeffler. I'm thinking, okay, so what black guy did she dump to date this dude and get all of his money? I'm sorry. I'm just. There's only a backstory there that
I'm going to assume that has not been explored in the life and times of Kelly Loeffler. I mean, I can't always say that. I mean, Tommy Lauren probably likes the split the dark open or whatever. But everything I know about her leads me to believe that even if some black man managed to find this harridan attractive, I think her fears of what people would think would prevent her from pursuing it. Because
that's why I wanted to know who it was that she probably kicked to the curb.
I don't think she would have gotten to the curb, I guess is what I'm saying. Because she's hardwired to do the thing that best positions her to be seen a certain way. I don't think she'd ever even be at that particular curb. It's what I'm saying. I think she would be there's pictures of her. It's funny because she's okay with taking pictures of white supremacists. That somehow doesn't seem to shock people that much.
But excuse me, you haven't seen the commercial where she is in the video with a crying black guy because he gave her money. Oh my
God! Oh God!
Hey man, Kelly, and they have her, and it's like doctored, and he's in some room with studio lights. He's got tears running down his eyes, and I'm saying, "Excuse me, what? Where did you? What Screen Actors deal did you drag his ass out of?"
I hate people.
I love people.
I don't.
I love people. You know why? Because we have so many different kinds of freaking angles.
Before I jump, I just wanted to bring this one point up about the dichotomy of DC and what they do with their characters.
Yes.
So, this is not a spoiler.
I hate Cyborg.
Here's what happened. So, the movie Wonder Woman 84, which is an atrocity in a lot of ways. I mean, it was such a disappointment. I was so sad. But so the character of Max Lord in the comics, he's actually from the comic books. In the comics, Wonder Woman kills him. She breaks his effing neck. Mm-hmm. But what did they do in this film? They actually said this. Oh, it's too out of character for her to kill somebody, so we're changing that. Yep. But what? We'll go ahead and have Superman break Zod's neck because that's in character for Superman because he's a dude.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now that's sexist.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
But the fact that every guy in the movie is leering at Diana and a sexual predator isn't.
Wait a minute, because I leer doesn't make me a predator. Come on.
Everybody does. If Bill knows what I'm talking about, tell me about that party scene, Bill. What happens?
So, leering may almost be putting it to. Let's use the term eye rape. How about that? The term that probably is more accurate is eye raping. I mean, leering doesn't even cover it. First of all, some of it goes to acting and directing. There's a way, even if you are like a hungry dog, there's a way that you can transmit these things without, this is like Nightly P. Whiplash acting, some of it, but I mean, you should see some of this stuff. But it's like silent movie acting. I'm not even joking. Like some of it is almost like silent movie acting. Like it's like the term we use in the acting business is indicating, right? That the things you're doing aren't even coming from an internal place. You just have this externalized process to show people what you're quote unquote feeling. So there's a lot of just that. I don't love a lot of the acting, but that particular scene is just it literally is like something out of a cartoon almost, where it's like the ooga ooga, the boing boing, eyes popping out and all that.
How is that not sexualizing her?
Well, the whole thing is sexualizing her. That's the whole deal.
Wait a minute, I gotta say it. The power of walking in high heels. It is so empowering being able to walk in high heels. They spend 15 minutes on walking in high heels as a superpower.
Jessica, I got something for you. Keep talking though. I don't mean like keep talking. I got something from Comic-Con. I figured out a way.
He's okay.
I figured out a way to make the video work. Oh, here it is. Look, this is it. Look, watch. Okay. This is.
Oh, Adrian Curry.
It's time now for news.
It was 8 years ago, folks.
I can't believe you found video of Adrian Curry. But is she dressed like Slave Leia?
Hey, thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. You got it. It's a great show. Definitely got it.
Wow. Wow, telling.
Everybody was Wonder Woman.
Be done in like 30 seconds.
There she is.
There she is.
I touched that boob.
This is in front of the Hard Rock.
Accidentally double ordered. But listen, I want to compliment you and thank you. My mom's in tradition.
This is the year. That was the year that I did.
Yes. Probably known as the year of Adrian Curry's boob.
Oh, that's Jennifer Goodwin.
Sorry, I gotta go. How's Comic-Con? How's Comic-Con? It's familiar.
Jennifer Goodwin.
Oh, yeah, baby. Look how tall he is. Ridiculous.
6'4.5", right?
He's really Oh, House of Lies. I thought that was going to be House of Cards. I'm like, oh, God, did you get around Spacey?
Speaking of tall guys, so Jared Padalecki's doing the new Walker Texas Ranger show, huh?
Oh, yeah, I actually drunkenly have a photo with him.
Of course you do.
I ended up...
You should do a whole separate vlog just called Drunkenly Photos with Jeff.
There's so many. I ended up, it was the last Comic-Con I went to, that last San Diego show. I got passes into that party that was over the 3 nights in that one venue. And that was really fun. One night was Stranger Things, one night was something else, and then they had the third night. Well, we were there, I think it was the last night, and or Saturday night, and they were we got trashed. I can't remember what we drank, but we were up at the bar, and we were up at the bar, and it was crowded, and all of a sudden I got bumped into by somebody, and I turned around, and it was Jared Padalecki. What? And he was smashed up against me, and I looked up at him, and he was gone too. And I looked at him like, "Hey, man, you're awesome. I love everything you talk about when it comes to mental health and blah blah blah." And he goes, "Oh, thank you." And so I'm like, "Hey, can I get a picture?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." And I ended up, and I just cuddled up to him and laid my head on his shoulder, and he grinned great big and laid his head on mine, and he's like 7 feet tall.
He's extremely tall, yes.
Yeah, and he just was wandering around. He just was wandering around on his own to these. Well, I think he had to go out bodyguards with him, but yeah, he just went to all these different shows, and that was the show that the what's his name from Pitch Perfect. I ran into him at there. Oh God, I can't remember his name. Anyway, but there was a bunch of people that showed up at this thing, and it was really fun. And we'll never get it again. I don't think it's ever going to happen again.
Thank you.
There's my little
Congratulations.
beautiful man. And there's Dougie with his ball bed because he has to do it for me. Hey, there I go. That's where I tell him, you can't die this time.
That was a wrap. It was good, and it was history. Hey, so what did you think?
I cannot wait. I hadn't actually known. I've been so busy. I didn't actually know we were having an openly gay character. So I'm so excited because I love my boys.
And then they kill one of them off immediately.
So Jessica, I don't care what her orientation is. She's gorgeous. Who is she?
I can't remember. We met there. That was we met in the line. It's a line friend. I make line friends, and then
Yes, so that would be your spin-off to Drunken Pictures with Jess. So you could spin off line friends after that.
Depends.
See, I'm still in a hole, so I'm staying here. Hey, yeah. What'd you think of the panel?
I thought it was great.
That was the year of my blue hair.
They were prejudiced against our front people.
The front row did not get any love.
Front row got no love at all.
No love.
No. That was really pissed me off. That panel, no one got to ask questions, but like
Sarek's character was in an interspecies relationship, not just racial.
Right.
And that really, they never really made a big deal about that, other than the fact that Spock had to deal with being a mixed race child. And at the time, that was a huge thing.
Which begs the question, though.
I keep Peter Capaldi earrings.
Of this, can I get you guys together? Because I'm like, yeah, it'd be great. How much? Yeah, now I'll phrase this a different way. To me,
Why don't you just keep digging the hole?
Well, I love it. I dig deep holes, like skyscraper holes. I love it. But here's the thing, okay?
So you've got to work with you on your game. That's what we've got to do. We've got to have a workshop.
Emotions and intent when they created this. What I mean by that is this. You're talking about interspecies relationships and bonding, but that was in him. But it's not necessarily in their heads, except to feel compelled to copy it. And they may not even be aware of it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think...
Does that make sense?
I think I'm a comic nerd, so I've confronted this a lot in that, look, I don't know what it's like to be bitten by a radioactive spider. I don't know what it's like to lose a parent violently at a young age. But I know what it's like to feel alone. And I think all humans, regardless of why it is, regardless of race, regardless of gender, all humans feel alone. And all of this is a way to narrate, to talk about feeling alone in a way so we don't feel like...
Yeah.
And I think I'm a strong believer that you can understand the way in which a person feels alone by what their fandom is.
Expand on that. What do you mean?
So, the people who are major Superman fans are generally not X-Men fans, who are generally not Spider-Man fans. All of these talk about the same...
She's really smart. You should have got her number.
I was going to say. I mean, not for the purposes that Zennie might have been trying to get her number, but just to bring her back. I would love to hear her talk more. She really is great at saying things that make very complex things easily understood. Like she can take these things and filter them down into usable, easily absorbable chunks. That's a skill.
And it made me leer at her. It was attractive. It was attractive. I love her. I'm sorry. And I'm not sorry. That's me.
You are forever a 14-year-old. I love it, Zennie.
I miss that hair so much. That was the year that I got to tell Peter Capaldi goodbye, I think, in
I love your lips and your
I was TARDISed out. I had TARDIS blue hair, I had TARDIS blue lipstick, I had Doctor Who earrings and a Doctor Who t-shirt.
Right. I noticed you kept it consistent.
Yeah, I do geek chic. That's what I call it. Well, guys, this has been fantastic. Zennie, congratulations on making something awesome that's keeping going. And you guys are awesome. My two favorite dudes to talk to on here, Bill. You're great. Yeah. Woo. So, but thank you guys so much. Everybody listening and watching, I apologize for being an uncouth person.
I'm gonna go watch Wonder Woman now.
Oh God, Zennie needs alone time.
Check out my dear mom. And, thank you all for helping make Zennie62Media a success. I mean, just to get, because we got this far. I mean, just to tell you how weird this was. Okay, I started this as an investment vehicle because I knew. Well, I wanted to be here for my mom hates when I say I have to want to be here for her, but I do. That's just the way I am. And but I thought, God, if I have to rearrange how am I going to do it, and it occurred to me just to make this a C corporation because I already had clients in what we do anyway, and I wanted to make it an investment vehicle. And the way you do that is today is to a C corp, and it actually has some tax advantages I realized later. But anyway, the first time I tried to do this was 4 years before, and these dudes that Mark Cantor introduced me to in San Francisco said they were going to put $24,000 worth of legal work into getting us to be a C corp. So they went back to Florida with my pitch deck and ghosted me, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So what they said was going to cost $22,000 to do, I spent $254 to do in these Swift filings, and the state of Delaware approved it. December 30th, got the paperwork, all filed with all the stamps on it, and started the bank account for Bank of America February 4th. Now, pandemic hits, economy goes bad, everything's like, I go to Bank of America inquiring about the PPP loan. They say, well, you have to have, the only way you're eligible is, first of all, if you have a business bank account with us, check mark. Then, if you established it before, drumroll please, February 15th, just made it. And then applied for these things, got rejected the first time. I thought, oh man, try it again. Because there's a certain headache you get when you try things that doesn't work. You know what I mean? You go, all right, do it again. And it worked twice. So thankfully, we hung on to our Insight Terminal Solutions. Unfortunately, in November, they were quite literally told to disband. In a very sad story, but I think the founder, John Siegel, is I guess he's fighting cancer, and I hope he wins. He's a good guy. He is one of the best clients I've ever had. The other being Sam Singer, who's still with us. And I've had Sam Singer as a client for 12 years. But then you all help make this into a network of fun, and you guys are showing the world from your perspective. And the dream is to have this so that, I'm just gonna dream big. I would like to have our own TV channel where people can see our videos, on a daily basis, and shows and stuff like that. And it doesn't have to be the whole day. Like I think Vice has to a few hours, right? There's some kind of way that they do. I'm learning. I'm be candid. I'm learning. There are things I know. There's a lot I don't know. So if you all have ideas and a way to put them off, don't be shy, and because that's how we grow, right? I'm tired. I'll be 60 in 2 years, less than 2 years. My mom is with me here. I want her, to know that. I think sometimes she wonders if I got this, but I know I do. So it's I know I do. Your parents are always critical of, well, maybe not. Maybe you guys' parents are not critical. Okay.
Yeah, well, no, I have black parents too, Zennie. So yeah.
I have a lunatic mommy.
No.
That's what I've got left is the crazy mom.
Hey, by the way, how's your new house, Jess?
Oh, it's the same house. We just own it now.
Oh, yay!
But we've automated it to where it's probably gonna kill us in our sleep at some point because if you've ever seen the movie Demon Seed, I'm waiting for that to happen because it's all AI ran now with a door lock and the lights that turn on and off, and it does all this stuff. And yeah.
So, and like your Bluetooth toaster can talk to your Bluetooth refrigerator about when you're low on bread and things like that.
So here's the thing that's crazy. I was watching, I think it was on YouTube, I saw an ad for a water faucet for your kitchen that is AI controlled, and you can program it to, you wave your hand over it and say, fill Bobo's bowl of water. And you can program it to know exactly how much water goes into Bobo's bowl. Or you can tell it, make my coffee, and it will put the exact amount of water for your coffee cup that you program in.
Right.
How lazy do you have to be that you need a programmable faucet for your water dispensing? I think about that for a minute.
You know, when I think about it more, I think about it's probably more of a flex than it even is lazy, because
it's like
it's
I
not
have this.
saving you that much effort. It's more just showing off. You know, like somebody comes over, it's like, watch this. That's because that's the only real, you know, payoff for this. It's not. I mean, how much were you getting worn out with, you know, turning the faucet off? I mean, like, was that? Oh my God! Woo!
Turn that dial.
You know, what's wrong, honey? Oh, I've been turning the faucet on and off all day and I'm exhausted.
Again, I can't remember to turn off the water faucet, and all this water went into the sink. I don't even.
By the way, I want to give a special shout out to Joseph Amandoris.
Oh, how's Joseph doing?
How is Joseph doing?
Let's find out. I'm going to just call him.
Yeah, good. Put him on the spot live, Zennie.
Yes, that sounds like a Zennie thing to do. Actually,
it does.
It is. But you know what? I think it's all. I think the Lord is helping him. So, you know, and he would appreciate the call. I just want to take tonight.
I hope that you are right.
I'm always right.
Forwarded to an automatic voice message
Sisters, can I call you back?
265
Oh.
4405.
Hey, Joseph. Hey, Joseph. Just
for the beat
live. Everybody says hi, and we're
yes.
Hi, Joseph.
And we're apologizing in case you were busy or asleep or something.
Yeah, it's probably 10 o'clock where he's at something. Well, actually, it's 8.
He's in LA.
It's 8.
LA, so it's 8. There you go.
Like I don't know what I'm doing.
I mean, we all remember that, Zennie. You always know what you're doing, so there can't be any chance of you being, you know, incorrect about that. But I'm glad that hopefully Joseph's doing well. That's what really matters.
Yeah.
Good Lord. All right, guys, I am jumping. I will see you guys again. I will have more videos in the future, I promise. I still have all of that Candyman content that I need to post because they moved the movie.
Todd. Hey, we got to get him as a guest.
I can do that.
Yeah. Because he had Ray Chester on earlier today.
Speaking of super tall individuals, Jess, have you stood next to him? Next to Tony Todd?
Oh, have you not seen my hosted Candyman panel with him and the director? And
oh, I will check that out. Now that I know that exists, I will.
Oh, I love me some Tony Todd. He strangled me when I first met him because we were posing
on request, I assume.
And I was okay with it.
Oh, well, all right then. Enthusiastic consent is actually all that matters.
He's a beautiful, beautiful dude, and he is like freaking huge.
He's like 6'6". Yeah, he's like a small forward.
And that voice, the voice of Tony Todd is chocolate, and it is amazing. And he can do that whole "be my victim." That is his voice. He's literally not using any kind of thing for that. That's him doing that.
He's all natural. It's all him.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it is. I'm all about the Tony Todd.
I see that now.
you became involved with Sushi Girl and about your in this
Oh,
record.
Jeff Fahey was like a young, upcoming actor, man. Wow.
He's an interesting man, and that's all I'll say.
Hey, Jessica, look at that.
There he is. He's so sweet too. I interviewed him for the last issue of Horror Hound that we did the Candyman coverage for, like for the new movie, and we did a whole Legends of Horror thing with him, and it was just a fantastic interview.
Yep.
And we talked about how they, back when Candyman came out, they edited out a lot of the romance angle between him and Virginia Madsen because they were afraid of doing interracial romance.
Oh my God.
Very freaked out about that, yes.
And they actually did stuff like they would go horseback riding together, they ballroom dance together to work this relationship and work on it and make it more natural in the film. And they cut out like a bunch of it out.
Nip, snip, snip. Yep.
Hey, here's Mr.
Oh, there's a bunch of movies that have similar stories like that.
Tony, you're becoming a master horror because you're in Sushi Girl. Also, you're in Hatchet 2.
Yeah, that was a fun ride. Adam Green's a great young actor, and he just greenlit Hatchet 3.
And these gentlemen said that they wrote this with you in mind.
That's what they told me.
How much of a compliment is that?
I'm a humble man. My mom's a preacher. I'm a big fan of Public Enemy, so I don't believe the hype. What?
I'm a fan of Public Enemy, so I don't believe that.
I pinch myself every day. And I think that's what keeps me hungry. I was talking to somebody earlier. Not a day goes by on my first day of a set, and I don't have a hard night's sleep. Okay, because I'm so nervous, I'm so amped up, I'm so anxious about what I'm going to do next. And then when that moment fades away or slows down, and that's when I'll walk away. So I'm still a kid at heart.
Tell our viewers as much as you can about your character.
Well, he's an enigmatic. I look at him as a dysfunctional father figure. He means well. He's collected this great group of guys who happen to be
He's like one of the only guys in the bad guy crew that lived in the Crow.
But he's one of the most dangerous people on earth. And I did a lot of research on what makes a clinical sociopath. And they're the kind of guys that will embrace you, give you a full-blooded hug, tell you how much they love you. And if you say the wrong thing, it goes, the switch goes off. Yeah. The eyeballs go right through you and you can feel it. You can feel it reaching in and snatching your heart.
How do you study a person like that? What is that model or somebody?
No, I don't have a specific figure, but I had to base it on political things. Sure. I mean, I got a lot of work.
He reminds me a lot of, in terms of his acting style and the fact that he's so underrated because people just toss him into a horror pile, like, oh, he's a horror guy. He reminds me a lot of Jeffrey Combs because Jeffrey Combs is an amazing actor, and it's something to do with
thank you.
Hey, like it. But it's something to do, I think, with the guys that do Star Trek too, as well, because it's there's so much more depth to what they're doing than they people think about. Right. And like Tony Todd is a theater actor. He's amazing.
He's been in Master Harold and the Boys. He's been in LeBlanc. He's been in Strange Running.
He did a version of Fences and stuff like that. And Jeffrey Combs is the same way. He's a Shakespearean trained actor. And they do all this work for these movies that people would think are just throwaway roles, but they go in and do the work.
Yep.
And that's why you know that every time you watch a movie with either Tony Todd in it or Jeffrey Combs in it, it doesn't matter how low budget or whatever, they're going to elevate it, and it's going to be worth watching just for them.
Yep. That because Sushi Girl wasn't even released when it was supposed to be, and it didn't get released for several years.
Yeah, it took a while. I remember when that was supposed to come out, and they delayed it. Mm-hmm. It was another one of those New Mutant things where they held it on the shelf for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I ran into one of the producers.
Because that always makes it better.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't really want to talk about it when I ran into him, poor fella. So, I realize I haven't actually seen Sushi Girl since. I still want to see it. I'm going by it tonight.
Yeah, but you know something funny is I just interviewed for my show on Joe Blow, Noah Hathaway, who is one of the stars of that movie.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a comeback role for him and Sushi Girl, and then also there's more Jack and Jessica pictures with James B. Wolfe, who's also in that movie.
Yep. So I've won another $1 million blog/vlog idea for you before you've been leaving us for the past 10 minutes. But
I know.
but before you go yet again, it's called On the Cutting Room Floor, and it's you talking to actors about scenes that they were in that they wish had made it to the film but didn't.
That's a good idea.
It's a great idea. It's a great
Do that, Bill. That's BS.
Yeah.
Then he's gonna go
because there's so many movies that would be completely different if they'd left in scenes that they didn't make.
Rev share.
Yeah, baby.
I mean,
down.
There's like movies that you would look at, I mean, completely differently. There's a whole bunch of stuff that didn't make it into Apocalypse Now.
Oh man, yeah.
Every person I've ever known who's been associated with Apocalypse Now has at least one, oh my God, this movie is almost a completely different movie story, from the cast changing several times at various points during the. I mean, that was it. Once again, obviously that's sort of like the movie everybody points to when we talk about a movie that, it's amazing it even got made. But there's all these other films. I mean, long list of films that...
I interviewed Richard Stanley for Color Out of Space, and he's the guy that they made the whole documentary about, the Island of Dr. Moreau.
Yep.
It was completely...
Thank you.
They completely screwed him on that. Hey, thank you, David.
Thanks.
But they completely screwed him on that movie, and there's footage of that was shot. We're never going to see it. But if you ever want to talk to somebody really just one of those crazy brilliant people, Richard Stanley is the man. He is just amazing when it comes to just hearing him talk about H.P. Lovecraft. His mom read H.P. Lovecraft to him when he was a kid.
Yes.
That was his bedtime stories. Was freaking
H.P. Lovecraft. Well, that explains a lot.
It's bedtime for me, folks. I'm going to go see after Mom, see how she's doing.
Yeah, I will actually leave this time. Thank you guys again. Thank you guys for watching. This has been amazing. Bill, we're going to have to do that show.
So I am serious. So I'll start doing some research, and I'll start thinking about 5 films that I know would have been radically different if not for scenes that were cut out. And then you can start thinking about maybe your top 5, and then we'll do something.
I'm down with that. That's going to be fun. Now I got to think about it.
One of these will be in your future. This is a Zennie62Media.
Yay!
Now we've got shirts, and we're gonna have hats.
So
this will be
hats. I'm all about hats.
This is trademark. This is our trademark.
It actually looks really good. That's a good looking piece of merch, my friend.
This logo is trademarked.
I like it.
This is the theme around this is the simplicity and yet the technical complexity of a black monolith. Remember that?
I like that.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, so hey, y'all are part of it. Y'all gave me the idea in a weird way.
All right, guys.
All right.
Thank you all.
New Year.
For supporting us.
Safe New Year. Have a good New Year.
It was a pleasure as always.
Yes. Thank you, man. David's the man. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you for doing this. Woo, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Compton. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Guys.
Good night.
Stay safe.
See y'all.